A very good evening to you, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching us from, and you are warmly welcome to the Power Impact Series, proudly brought to you by the African Season Speakers Network. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Owusu-Ansah. It is a pleasure always to have you here on board, and today is going to be a wonderful thing because today is going to be our last section for celebrating the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and that is not the end of awareness creation for cybersecurity. We are going to have other series of cybersecurity awareness that we're going to carry out throughout the year till next year, God willing, October, where we're going to celebrate big time the cybersecurity awareness creation again. So this month was dedicated solely by the African Season Speakers Network to awareness creation for cybersecurity, because this is our month for cybersecurity awareness creation. And hey, we've not forgotten about also breast cancer awareness. We're doing all this awareness in the month of October. So welcome to the Power Impact Series. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Last week was so powerful. Talking with Rachel, who was telling us about her mentorship and how she ended up in the cybersecurity field. Today, I tell you, you're going to love it because we have inside here another person who's also going to tell us more into a lot of stuff about cybersecurity. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Right after this break, we are going to show to you who our guest is for today, and then we get roll. So stick around, don't go anywhere.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.afsesnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AfsesNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Right, influencing the next generation of Africans. Welcome to the Power Impact Series show. Today is still on the cybersecurity awareness creation, and hey, I'm loving the person in the house today, and I'm loving you also that you're joining us. Get into the chat area. Let us know where you are connecting us from. Let us know your name, and hey, keep your questions ready for our guest today. It's going to be a wonderful time. So share the link. Let others also come in here. This is our last session or our last one for the cybersecurity awareness creation. This is our last episode. So if you missed all the episodes from the beginning of this month, October, you don't have to miss this one. And if other people also missed it up, hey, they don't need to miss this one. Share the link. Let them have it. Let them join this discussion. You are going to love it. It's going to be a wonderful thing. All right. So right about now, we are going to have our guest for today. And I know you're going to love our guest for today. So straight in here, our guest for today is a cybersecurity analyst, and he works with E-Crime Bureau. He has been involved in high-profile security assessment assignments in the financial, insurance, and governmental sectors. He is passionate about cybersecurity, or passionate about he's a passionate analyst who donates his skills to others through security awareness training and workshops. Our guest holds several professional certificates from reputable bodies such as MAL2 and Interpol. Our guest is an alumnus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And from today, our guest is an alumnus of the Power Impact Series. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, because I am ready, I'm so excited because it's going to be a wonderful time in here. Help me welcome for the very first time onto the Power Impact Series, cyber analyst, an analyst who has been involved in high-profile cyber-related cases. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from E-Crime Bureau, let us welcome our guest for today, Randolph Okra Buadu. That is the man I'm talking about. Randolph, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, yes, yourself.
I'm doing perfectly good. Seeing you alone gives me a lot of analytic ideas. Well. So I did a little bit introduction of who Randolph is. But hey, you are here yourself. We want to know who
Okay.
Randolph is. I will just ask you in some short words, who is Randolph? Yes.
All right, so Reno is a cybersecurity analyst with E-Crime Bureau, which is a cybersecurity firm which has operated in Ghana for the past 11 years. So at E-Crime Bureau, I engage in vulnerability assessments and penetration testing, and I'm also a SOC analyst with E-Crime Bureau.
You've said a lot. You've said a lot, but hey, we need to break it down. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joining me, get into the chat area. Let me know who is online with me today. Let me know your name, where you are joining us from, and hey, you are here with the analyst. He said he does what? Vulnerability test. What is that? Are we vulnerable sitting here? What is that? Let us know about that. What is vulnerability testing? And then before that, what is e-crime bureau? I mean, someone is asking, what is e-crime bureau?
All right, so E-Crime Bureau is a cybersecurity and investigation firm in Ghana, which has operated in Ghana for the past 11 years. And so E-Crime Bureau offer consulting services to institutions. And so if you want to protect your digital infrastructure, digital assets, then you will need an institution like E-Crime Bureau to help you. And we also provide capacity building through trainings. So we do train people who are interested in the cybersecurity field.
What about others who are not in the cybersecurity field? Are they also welcome? Do you have trainings for them as well?
Yeah, they are also welcome. So we also train people on cybersecurity awareness. So for instance, this month being the month of cybersecurity awareness, we've been training people on certain things that they have to know as far as cybersecurity is concerned. And because of the growing dependence on digital technologies, so cybersecurity is not just for the professional, but then everyone has to know one or two things about cybersecurity.
Right, everyone needs to know one or two about cybersecurity, and that is why we are here this evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on where you are joining us from, to know one or two. But as far as you are going to know 3, 4, 5 things about cybersecurity today, yeah, because Randolph is going to tell us all about all that we need to know. How is the cybersecurity landscape in Ghana? How does it look like from where you are sitting, from E-Crime Bureau? You do a lot of training, you do a lot of analysis on the financial institution, insurance, and you've worked together with, high-profile agencies like Interpol. How is the landscape in Ghana looking like? Is it that we have about 80% of the population aware of cybersecurity attacks and that, or or how's the landscaping like in Ghana? Then maybe we can project it to Africa.
All right. So, when you compare this year to like maybe 10 years ago, then I would say that it has been a tremendous improvement in the cybersecurity landscape. Some time ago, cybersecurity was just a thing for a few people, but now I think more people are becoming aware of cybersecurity, and several organizations in the country are also taking cybersecurity awareness very important by training their employees on it. And so I would say that Ghana is doing very well as far as cybersecurity is concerned, but there is also more room for improvement.
There is more room for improvement by our analyst. Okay. But you see, sometimes when you're talking about cybersecurity, people or most people feel that cybersecurity is actually for the corporate world. It's only for companies. What about individuals? What should we think about cybersecurity? Because hey, what do I have that I have to think about cybersecurity? What do you have to say about that?
All right. So let me even use a case study to answer this question. I'm sure yourself and most of the people on this call have gotten to know of this WhatsApp account takeover. And I think recently there has also been an increase in Facebook account takeover. And with the Facebook account takeover, one thing that I've realized is that after these criminals have taken over your Facebook account, they start posting exotic content, like you know those kind of, yeah. So that alone, imagine if one day a friend of yours just went on your Facebook or the person sees that you posted this thing, it's just a dent on your reputation. And so cybersecurity is something that we all have to take it serious. When someone also take over your WhatsApp account, the person then begins to use it to send things. And one incident that we resolved, for instance, after someone had taken over someone's Facebook account, the person started asking for money from his friends, and some of them gave the funds to the person. So they thought their friend was owing them, but that person hadn't done anything. And so cybersecurity is something that we have to take it very serious, because it has a lot of consequences when you don't take it very serious.
Right, so it's not just for the corporate world, an individual to, because the example you just cited, I think it's happening now. I think it's the norm of the day back here, especially Facebook accounts. You just get a notification that a friend has posted something or a friend has tagged you, and you go and see, and it is adult explicit, videos or pictures, and instantly you start thinking some way or in some kind of line about the person. And you want to say that this things that is happening, the person or the owner of the account has no idea about these postings that is going on.
Yes, they don't. And I'm sure that what the cyber criminals are doing is that they find ways to get the credentials of these people through using certain phishing techniques. And so when you take cybersecurity serious, it'll be very difficult for the criminals to get your credentials through any attempts. And so that's the reason why we all have to be aware, because maybe today it is Facebook, the next time it might be your accounts, your credentials for your online banking, and then your money will be gone. So it is very important that as individuals we take cybersecurity important.
Right, you have to think it's important. Right, so let's move in. Let me just give a little shout out of people that have joined us from all over the world this evening, morning, afternoon. Okay, so I have here Gloria NG Aladu. He said, I am Gloria, joining you all the way from Nigeria. Niger in the house. Thank you. I have Makezia. He said, thanks for joining us tonight. I have Marjorie Nelly Ajapon, or no, Ajiman. Marjorie Nelly Ajiman. She said, hey, Marjorie Nelly Ajiman here. She's joining us from Ghana, Accra. I have Theophilus Akugri. I am Theophilus Akugri from Ghana. Had to come listen to Randolph. Oh, yes. We are all coming home to listen to Randolph today. Oh, Nana, sorry. Nana, my papa said the network here is very bad. Sorry, Nana. We're just praying that it's going to get stable, because, hey, you can't miss what Randolph is coming to share with us today. So please join a good network. Or we pray have a good network here. All right, so I'm having here Paris Bennett. Paris Bennett say, yay, I'm here too from New York. Oh, yes, joining us. Thank you so much. Kola Nut. Okay. We know where Kola Nut is joining us from. He's joining us from the Savannah region of Ghana. Kola Nut, how are you? Thank you all for joining us. Hey, share the link, let others also join. This is our last edition for Cyber Security Month Awareness Creation. So, hey, let people join. And just a few minutes, if you just missed a few minutes of what Randolph has shared, that's a whole semester's lecture he's just shared with us about takeovers of Facebook accounts and what people are using. Because I just get this notification. People are tagging me. People are tagging you. That, hey, do you know what is happening? Come and watch. You go and see it is an explicit video. And hey, you just want to look at that. And the person that has tagged you, integrity, is at stake here. Their images are being damaged. And he says these people don't know about it. They don't have an idea about what is going on because their account has been taken over without their notice. And these are the dangerous ones. So it's not only the corporate world that needs cybersecurity. You as an individual, you come together to form a corporate entity. You need cybersecurity awareness and education as well. So thank you so much, Randolph, from the E-Crime Bureau. And they do a lot of training for individuals as well as for corporate world. Right about now, we're going to look at what we have for today. Right. Our topic for today. This is what I like, and I love this. Assessing social media outages. Right. So if you say social media outages, what is social media outages? Is it the outages just like the national grid? We are there and then we don't have power. Is it just like, oh, there's no water flowing through our taps, or we are not being able to connect to our favorite TV, network station? What is it all about by saying social media outages?
All right. So just as the word outage, the word outage is used to describe when a particular service is unavailable or is down. So, for instance, when there is a power cut, we mostly say that there is electricity outage. So, outage is just a period of time in which particular service is down. So, social media outage in this case is when at least one services of a social media platform is down. So, let's say you are on Facebook and then you can't send messages. Then, yeah, there has been a particular outage. Recently, I think on Tuesday, there was WhatsApp outage where where no one could send a message. When you send a message, it doesn't get delivered, and then we couldn't send or receive messages. And so that is what social media outage is, right? When at least one or more services of the social media platform becomes unavailable.
Oh, really? So, people were buying a lot of data because they said their data has been exhausted during the week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it happened to me too. I think it was around 7 a.m. and then I wanted to go on WhatsApp and see the messages I had to reply. So I replied the messages that I had to reply, and I realized that it had not ticked. And I was like, wow, but I'm having data. So I was connected to a Wi-Fi, and then I had to restart my router. I realized still the thing wasn't getting delivered. I went to Twitter and I realized that WhatsApp was down.
Right. Because during the week it was a hectic time, people. And the funny thing, I was wondering why people quickly thought that, hey, it's a data issue. I mean, because WhatsApp messages are not going through, you're not receiving, and people were rushing to top up data and stuff. What is the lesson in here? What should you do? Should you have this, or should you experience this kind of outages? What are the pragmatic ways to know that this is a general outage? What are some of the things that, as an individual, you send in messages and then it's not going through? What are some of the first steps? Or let's say, what are the first aid we need to give to ourselves, our advice to ourselves, when we encounter such issues?
All right, so I think the easiest way that you can find out whether it's not a problem from your end, but the general problem, is to try accessing other applications which use internet. So when you are try accessing those applications and then they work, then you know that, okay, it is not an issue with my internet. Then you go to other social media platforms. I think this case, Twitter is always the best. And you go to a trending list. And so when you go to a trending list, when it's a general problem, you will see the hashtag there. WhatsApp is down, and you realize that, oh, it's not just from me, it's from everyone. So I think mostly when a social media platform is down, the easiest way to find out is to try accessing other applications on your phone which use internet. And if you realize that you're able to access those ones, then it could be that there is a particular problem with that particular social media platform. So you go to Twitter and you can find that information there.
Right. So just do a cross check with other media or social media platforms and see if this is down or it is from your end, then you can pick it from there. All right. So, but what impact does this cause? So, what impact does this cause in the cybersecurity aspect or cybersecurity concern when we have social media outages? What are some of the impacts, cybersecurity concerns concerning these outages?
All right. So I'm not even going to begin from the impact it has as far as cybersecurity is concerned, let's talk about the general impact of social media outages. Okay, so I'm sure most of us here remember the outage which took place on last year, 5th October. It wasn't just WhatsApp which was down. I think 5th October, it was the evening time, I think from 7 p.m. WhatsApp was down, Facebook was down, and then Instagram was down. Do you remember that incident? It happened last year.
Yeah. I mean, all of them went down. Yeah, true.
And that outage lasted for 6 hours. And just those 6 hours that there was that outage, Facebook lost about $61 million in ad revenue.
Oh,
Facebook, Instagram, yes,
please come
yes.
again. How much did Facebook lose during that outages? Please come again.
All right. So during that outage, I think, yeah, let me start from here. The shares of Facebook dropped by 5.4%. And then Facebook lost 99.7 million in ad revenue. $99.7 million in ad revenue. And then the owner of Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp is now owned by Meta or Meta, right? And the owner of that company, which is Mark Zuckerberg, his net worth dropped by $7 billion. $7 billion. Just a 6-hour outage. and then Bloomberg, I think Watchdog NetBlocks, they have reported that whenever Facebook is down for an hour, when Facebook gets down every hour, $160 million is wiped away from the global economy. So
what really is causing this? What is causing this huge sums of money to be wiped
because
off?
Right.
Is that,
so because these days,
I'm not chatting with somebody, or is it because we're chatting? That's where they are getting their money, or what is making them get their money? That it's down for just an hour and they are losing that huge someone's GDP.
All right. So let me ask a question. Have you recently purchased anything from an online store?
Oh yes, we do.
Where did you see that thing? Where did you see that thing before you made purchase of it?
It was through social media pages, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see that these days we are dependent on social media platform for business transactions. Almost all the things that I've bought through an e-commerce site, I'll see them on, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, and I'll be like, oh, I like this one. Then I'll go to whichever e-commerce site that thing is hosted and buy it. And so when these social media platforms are down, it means that we small businesses who rely on Facebook, Instagram to advertise their businesses wouldn't be able to do so. So temporarily, their businesses are closed down. So it affects the global economy. So whenever Facebook, Instagram, or any social media platform is down, people lose a lot of money. They lose a lot of money. All right. So that is one of the greatest impacts of social media outages. And one of them is that communication ceases. These days, WhatsApp call, for instance, is very inexpensive as compared to the normal call. But I think those of us who have relatives outside Ghana, we can testify to the fact that they don't call us through the normal call again, but it's through WhatsApp now. So for that 6-hour period, if you have to talk to someone, if you have to send message to someone, it wouldn't have been possible. And then there are several messages which are transacted through WhatsApp platforms and the rest. Even certain organizations, they have WhatsApp platforms that they use to communicate with their workers and the rest. And so maybe during that time, there was supposed to be a meeting, you needed to send someone a venue, and that was the only platform we were having. It meant that there wouldn't be any information delivered. So it had a lot of outages. And then one of the most difficult one, which was to take was, we have something that we call federated authentication. So let me explain what federated authentication is. I'm sure when I explain it, you realize that we've all used that before. Sometimes when you are logging on to different applications, You can see something like log in with your Microsoft account, log in with Facebook, log in with, I'm sure you've seen something like that before.
Most definitely, almost all the time. Yeah.
So when Facebook was down, what it meant was that all other applications that you needed to log on using Facebook, you couldn't access that one too. Maybe let's say your bank account, like you log on to your bank account using your Facebook account. It means that if your Facebook account is down, you can't access your bank account. So you could see that it caused a lot of issues. And then, in cybersecurity, I think when everyone is being introduced to cybersecurity, there is a basic concept that we teach. That is a CIA trap. I'm sure Sir Benjamin, yeah. Right, so with the CIA trap, for those of you who might not know, the C stands for confidentiality, the I stands for integrity, and the A stands for availability. And this is a basic concept on which most security applications are built. So most of the times, it's not even most of the times, always, we want to ensure that neither of these three components are compromised. When any of them is compromised, then it means that there is an issue. So for instance, confidentiality. When someone is able to take over your account, if someone is able to log on to any account that you have, it means the person is going to have access to your information. So your confidentiality is what? Compromised. Integrity. If someone makes changes to certain files of yours, the integrity of that file is compromised. And so the main thing here is the availability. We always want to make sure that services are available to legitimate users. And so when any social media platform is down, when there is a social media outage, it means that a very great component of the CIA triad, which is availability, is compromised. And then it becomes a concern for cybersecurity experts because availability is gone. People can't, legitimate users can't access the application. And so these are all the impact that social media outages have on us.
Wow. I'm just listening to all these things, and Abna is bearing witness with me. Abna Tobra says, wow, nice discussion. Because hey, I'm not the one feeling it alone, because you've made mention of numerous things. Logging into your bank accounts using your Facebook, because that's how you've linked it up. And I'm a bit scared in here because that is how you log into your online account, because sometimes you don't want to go through that process of putting in your password and then your username and everything. So everything has been cached in there, everything has been saved in there, and you want to log in through your Facebook account. So my fear is that now, if that Facebook account is hacked, what has happened to you? Yeah. That's a question we need to look at. Yeah. So Mackenzie says, if Meta lost such amount, then how much money do they make in a day? She's wondering because if they are losing that amount, how much are they making in a day? Wow, that's huge. That's huge in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So the availability part is what we just looked at. Social media has become, our lives in a way has become dependent on the social media applications or social media, pages and stuff. So if it goes down for just an hour, that is the amount of money people are losing. And it's not just only for Meta or the owners of the application. The example you cited, classic example, I need to send a location to a business partner to come in and deliver my services or deliver their services to me, but it's not available for me to connect it. So for that period of time, we are stuck. 1 hour, money gone. What do we need to do in these situations?
All right. So what I would say is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. And so there has to be diversity. That is the main solution here. There has to be diversity. You don't have to rely on just one social media platform for your businesses. So let me cite this example. I remember the October 5th social media outage last year. I have been on Telegram for some time now. During that time, I think my contact list, more than 100 of them downloaded Telegram and joined Telegram that night. Everyone was joining Telegram because WhatsApp wasn't working, Instagram wasn't working, Facebook wasn't working. So the other options was maybe you getting Twitter or getting Telegram. And then you could see at that time almost everyone was joining Telegram. So as business operators, what we have to do, or even as individuals, what we have to do is that we don't have to, just depend on one social media platform for communication or for business related activities. We have to make sure there is diversity. So you can do some on Facebook, and one thing is that because Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp are all owned by one person or one company, when there is an issue with one, it's likely to affect the others. So aside these three, make sure you have some kind of strong connection on Twitter, a strong connection on Telegram, because it is rare that all these social media platforms are going to go down at the same time. So if this is down, you can still continue working on the other. I think that would be the best solution for us.
So what does this switching or having multiple accounts make for the owners of this application? Within an hour, you had over 100 contacts on your list just migrating to Telegram. Yeah. So in this case, or in that scenario, in that space of time when there's an outages here and then everybody is trying to hop on to the next available application where communication can go on, what is the advantage in there for these hackers? What is the advantage in there for these bad guys? Because, hey, everybody is moving in here now. This is good market for us. What are some of the precautions that we need to look at? Because, hey, we are moving in there. We need to communicate. Communication is now part of our life. We need to continue with. You can have your outages, but my business needs to go on. In moving to these other applications, what are some of the measures that needs to raise our antennas and going in there? Because, hey, now you are wounded. All you need to do is you want communication. But in doing that, what are some of the things we need to look out for in doing that great migration?
All right. So, when something like this happens, then, the criminals, their modus operandi, right? Their way of doing things changes. Mostly when you see these kind of phishing messages, an example of a phishing message can be, sometimes you see a message and it'll be like, this government, maybe government of Ghana, government of Nigeria is distributing this amount to the youth, is distributing this. And most of the time the links in there are mostly phishing, either to phish your credentials, to phish some personal information about you, and a whole lot. So when these things happen, then the targets of the criminals change. They don't target people on WhatsApp again. They start targeting people on the other social media platform. Hardly will you hear that someone has taken over someone's Telegram account. No, because people know that most people don't really do a lot of great things there. And so hackers like where you are most resourceful or useful or most engaging, and then they directly attack them. So when this thing happens, it means that when you move on to these other social media platforms, make sure you take precautions. Just like how when you see those kind of application messages on WhatsApp, you are advised not to be clicking on such links. When you move to a different social media platform like Telegram, make sure you observe the same rules there, because anything can happen. You just move to a different platform, but then if you don't protect yourself, you are still vulnerable to cyber attacks.
If you don't protect yourself, you are still vulnerable to cyber attack. Because, hey, I'm just laughing because I'm like, yes, everybody is moving in there. And you see, the funny thing is, once there's that outages or there's an outage in a particular set of social media platforms, we are all trying to get to the next available one. And you see, most of us are getting there without knowing our navigation on those applications. And that's the truth. Yeah. We don't really know, but it's just that we want to communicate. We just want to communicate. So, hey, let's get in there. And we are just clicking on any link that is coming because we need to install it. And I'm wondering if we are even installing the right application we are even going to use, because at that moment, everybody needs to connect. Are we downloading the right applications when there are outages? How will you
All
even
right.
know? How will you even know this is the right application I'm downloading? Because Randolph is on this application. So okay, let's say Randolph is on Randolph app. I've not used Randolph app before, but we are down, and I'm just seeing everybody talking about Randolph app. What is the first thing I need to look out for before going in to download this app, which I'm not used to? Just like when COVID hit, a lot of people didn't know how to really maneuver using other communication applications. So it was a difficult time. Anytime you join any online meeting, you are going to have hello, we're going to have a little bit of housekeeping and all those kind of stuff, you know. So in cases of these outages and stuff, what am I looking out for when I'm downloading or when I'm installing this other social media applications?
All right. So I'll answer this question by introducing everybody here to something that we call a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse. And so we have something that we call a malware. And a malware is any malicious application which, when installed on your laptop or your computer, iPad, anything, it causes some disruptions to those devices. And so mostly a Trojan horse is an application which is in disguise. You know, you see it to be a legitimate application, but it has certain bad things that it does. So that is a Trojan horse. So when things happen like this, then the bad guys become happy because they can have a particular application which maybe, let's say, can steal your keystrokes. Like it can be a keylogger, it can access your location, access your contacts and the rest. The only thing that they need to do is to name it Telegram. So for instance, they can name it Telegram and then provide a link and then share it around that. Oh, okay, if you don't have Telegram, click on this link to download Telegram and install it on your machine. So you do that, you install it, and then you realize that whatever the application has been developed to do, either to infect your system with a virus or anything, you realize that that thing is done. And so we advise that whenever you are downloading any application, it's not just even a social media platform, it can even be a banking app. We've been doing security threats intelligence, and then we realized that in the US, cyber criminals were able to create very close applications related to 7 banks. Like if, let's say, in Ghana, let's say cyber criminals are able to create applications like the Cow Bank app, let's say EcoBank app, UBA app, and the rest. And then they make people install it. So when you install it, the first thing you do is to what? Register and try to log on. So it could be that you've already registered before. So if you've already registered before and you're logging on, what will you do? You log on with your username and your password. And if they ask you, if let's say there is a multi-factor authentication on it and you are being asked to provide a token, you are going to do that. So the application is designed in a way that every input that you make is being sent to an attacker somewhere who will be using that to access the legitimate Bank app or UBA bank and the rest. By the time you finish doing that, the person will use that to fetch your credentials and then log on to your main application using the right application that has been developed by the bank, and then be able to do any fraudulent activity they want to do with your online banking platform. So when you are downloading any application from Play Store, Apple Store, always check the number of downloads. Imagine you are going to download, let's say, Facebook, and then you realize that Facebook has been downloaded by 100,000 people. This should be a red flag because Facebook has about 3.5 billion active users. 3.5 billion. The whole our population is a little over 7.8 billion. And out of that, 3.5 billion people are active on Facebook. So Facebook has been downloaded by billions of people. So let's say you go to Play Store to type Facebook and then you realize that it's been downloaded by just 10,000 people, 100,000 people. That should give you a red flag that no, this is not a legitimate application. So always when you are downloading an application from Play Store, Apple Store, any store, check the number of downloads and then check the reviews. Check the reviews. And so when it comes to the bad applications or the fake ones, you realize that it will have just about 5 or 6 reviews. and all the reviews will be 5/5, 5/5, because mostly the reviews are done by the hacker and his friends. So everybody, oh, this app is good and the rest. But any legitimate app, you see thousands of reviews with some being positive and some being negative. So always when you're downloading an application on Play Store, Apple Store, check for the number of downloads, check for the reviews, and then make sure it is from a trusted source. And this mostly happens to those of us who like downloading free applications, crackers. Someone who wants to maybe download something like KMS equal to, crack Microsoft application. Yes, hackers know that we want the free things, and so they also make sure that they put the viruses and the malware in those free things. And so you download it, you install it on your device, you think you've been able to crack Microsoft activation, but what you don't know is that you've installed some Trojan or some malware on your device. So let's always be careful to download from the right sources, trusted sources.
I'm wondering the number of Trojan horses we've downloaded onto our devices because hey, we love the free stuff because we need it, and then we are always moving ahead and going out for it. Okay, so as an analyst, from where you sit, where you're coming from, should someone do this unknowingly, thinking he or she is trying to get the code, the activation code for an application, and then just download these Trojan horses? What will let the person know that there is a Trojan horse or there is a malware sitting on their device? How will one know, or how will this person, or how does one detect that there is a Trojan horse or a malware on their device?
All right. So, some of the bad applications or these malicious applications, the hackers design in a way that they can sit on your device for quite a number of months or weeks or days before you can even know that something is going wrong. Sometimes you might not even identify it at all. But then some signs that you can use to identify that there is particular application stealing something from you and the rest is sometimes your battery. Realize that your battery drains very fast because aside you using your device, someone somewhere is also using a device with you. So you realize that your battery will drain quickly. And then you realize that your data usage, you were using, let's say, 1 gig every day. Now you begin to use 2 gig. Why? Because these applications, the hackers, when they develop them, they have some remote server somewhere that information is being transferred from your device to that. And it has to use internet. So you realize that you are using your internet to, let's say, access Facebook and the rest. But then the hacker too is using your internet to transfer some megabytes of data, some huge some amounts of data to their server. So you realize that your data usage, like, it becomes unusual. And then one way that you can also identify it, your phone begins to, mess up. Realize that your phone can't work well, and all of a sudden your phone, the screen goes off, it comes back, you start having several issues with your phone or your laptop. And there are some of them that right on the go, you realize that there has been an infection, especially when the application that you downloaded, let's say, it's a ransomware. So let me explain what a ransomware is. And so a ransomware is an application which, when installed on your device, what it does is that it encrypts all the data, or sometimes some of the data that you have on your device, and it asks for a ransom before your data is decrypted. So it's just like the digital way of kidnapping. When someone is being kidnapped, the physical world, someone is being kidnapped, the hackers and the kidnappers will take the person and they'll be like, hey, I have your child with me, I have your wife with me, pay this amount of money and I release the person. Sometimes you even pay the amount and the person is never released. That's how ransomware too is. So it holds your data in ransom, then it asks you to pay that ransom. Sometimes when you pay, the criminals will send you the decryption key to decrypt it. Sometimes you send the money, mostly in Bitcoin, because they want to remain anonymous. You send the money and still you wouldn't get any key to decrypt your data. So there are some of them that when you install them immediately. You have the signs that you've been infected. Even sometimes a message will just pop up that, hey, you've been hacked, you've been this, you've been that. You can't have access to the machine again. But there are some of them too that they will sit on your machine, be using your data with you, be using your machine with you, be assessing your live location and what have you. In-house, we created a malware, a Trojan, like in-house, and they can be routine. And it's something that we mostly use for training. So what this malware does is that when you install it on your laptop or your mobile phone, we are able to use your phone with you. And so remotely, we can turn on your camera and be looking at you and be seeing what you are doing, but you wouldn't see that. And so all these are signs that one can use to know that the application, if you install some malicious application with the mobile devices, laptops or not.
Wow. So it means we be having co-tenants and we don't know them. When these malicious actors get onto your device, they become your co-tenant and you have no idea that you have this co-tenant on it. Hey, so be careful about these things that Randolph has shared with us. When you start experiencing these things with your device, just let your mind get to that location that there is a possibility of this happening to you or to your device. You might have just clicked on something, you might have just downloaded something, and then it is happening to you. Wow. I'm just overwhelmed by the things that Randolph has shared with us. And I know you as you get into the chat area. Let me know what you're thinking about this so far. Share with us what you've seen or you've learned from what is being shared with us by Randolph. And then we'll just take our last commercial break. And then right after that, we'll just hear our last words from Randolph. So get into the chat area and then let's hear from you what you've learned so far. What has this whole presentation been to you? Are you getting some change of behavior whilst you are online? We'll be back shortly.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.abscessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AbscessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Influencing the next generation of Africa. And then we say we are so happy to have you join us online today for this episode. And I know you are enjoying it, and I know you're taking something home. Let me just read a little of our comments that have come in. Okay, so Abner says, I'm really learning. Thank you. Ekuya Kunedu says, insightful section. Learning a lot. And then Eze is giving us stamp ups. He said, no, I'm sure what that Randolph has shared, it rings a bell. It rings a bell for them. So keep your comments coming. Let's encourage our presenter on what he's telling us, because these are valuable experiences he's sharing with us. All right. So we want to hear, before our last words, we want to just let Randolph tell us a little bit about where he's working, his organization, eCrime, what eCrime does. And then, from what he said, I think you attribute it most to eCrime. Let's know what eCrime does and what are some of your upcoming programs that you want to share with us for our viewers to take advantage of. So over to you, Randolph.
All right. So, like as I said, eCrime Bureau is a cybersecurity firm. So, one, cybersecurity. One, we are a digital forensic firm as well. And we are also an investigations bureau. And we are also a training bureau. So, I'll explain what each of these service areas are. So, when it comes to cybersecurity, what eCrime Bureau does is that we do something called vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. And what vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is that as an organization, as an institution, it can be a small, medium enterprise. It doesn't have to be a big organization, right? As far as you are using computers to work, you will need to do risk assessment. So we assess the risks that you have by discovering vulnerabilities on your system, and then we try to exploit them. And after that, we provide solutions to them so that you fix them before a hacker leverages on those vulnerabilities to take down your information technology infrastructure. So that's one component. And we also have a component called Security Operations Center, SOC. So that one is just like you having a security guard, right? Who protects who oversees your house or any place that you have always. And so with SOC analysts, what we do is that we continuously 24/7 monitor the digital assets of all our clients, right? So that when there are any intrusion, we detect it right on the spot and then respond to it before it escalates into an attack. So this service helps to prevent organizations from being a victim of cyber attack, because we always make sure we identify the attack right on the spot and then respond to it. So that's the SOC part. And we also do digital forensics. So let's say you are in an institution and then there has been a crime, cyber crime, right? So cyber crime is any crime which is involving a computer, and then you need to do some investigations to see who did this, who did that, why it happened, and the rest. And so E-Crime Bureau has got you covered. Digital forensic team will be able to do everything for you. And then we also do background checks and investigations. And so you want to employ people, you have some employees that you want to do a check on them to see whether they have their records are genuine, whether they have any criminal issue, all those kind of things. E-Crime Bureau can do all those checks for you. And we also do training. So you are an individual, you are interested in developing a career in cybersecurity. E-Crime Bureau has several courses run by reputable institutions across the world, Maltu, EC Council, and the rest, right, to help you start a career in cybersecurity. We also do awareness training for institutions who want to train their employees on cybersecurity awareness for them to be protected. So these and among many other things that we do at E-Crime Bureau.
Thank you. These are many other things that are being done at E-Crime Bureau. All right. So can you share with us your last words on assessing all these things and then outages on social media? And then its impacts and the concerns that are arising. What are your last words you want to share with us?
All right. All right. So, social media is a very important tool, and we can't do away with it. It has come to stay because it's now part of our lives. I don't think there is any human being who is very energetic and can go about, let's say, a week without an exposure to a social media platform, because that has become the means by which we communicate, we entertain ourselves, we do business transactions, and a whole lot. And so while we are on social media, let's protect ourselves in there, because we even spend more time on social media than we spend in our houses or probably our workplaces. So while on social media, make sure you protect yourself. All right. So you protect yourself by making sure that all your accounts, you set two-factor authentication, so that even when someone uses phishing to steal your credentials, that person will still need a code before they can have access to your social media account. And then if you do businesses on social media, I know most of our ladies have been selling stuff and the rest on social media, right? And mostly use Instagram and the rest. So make sure you don't keep all your eggs in one bowl, right? Try and have some options so that in case one social media platform is down, you would be able to quickly resort to the other. So stay safe online. Um, Make sure you set two-factor authentication, use strong password, and then make sure you explore, have other options. Don't just rely on one social media platform for your business or any other thing that you do, right?
All right, thank you so much. I love it, one. All that has been said, you need to take advantage of all that has been shared to you. And as we do it always, we do have our hashtag for each episode. And then I know there are a lot of things that has been shared for today. But hey, this is what we're going to do for today. Our hashtag for today goes in there. That is it in the chat area now. It's co-tenant. You have the least idea the person you are having on your device. You are sharing your device with a co-tenant you have no idea about. Be careful about the things that you downloading, the free things that you are downloading. There is a co-tenant with you. You need to look for that co-tenant. So we want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Randall for joining us for this episode. We are saying that we are so grateful to him. And then to you that join us online, we are so grateful for making time to join us. And then, as we always do it, when we come to the end of the program, we share some tips with you. And Mr. Randolph said it earlier on, having a strong password and also thinking of a multi-factor authentication or two-step verification. That's what mostly we do. But you know what the bad guys are doing with two-step verification? You see, two-step verification is a second layer of security that you place on your accounts. And most of the time when you are doing this two-step verification, you tag your SIM number to that authentication code. So when you log in and then it sends you the code or it requests for that second step authentication, it sends it directly to the number that you provide there. So this is what the bad guys are doing. When they try logging into your online account and knowing so well that you've set your two-step verification, they know the code will be sent to your device, especially if you've done it with your mobile device. It's going to send the code to your mobile device. So this is what they do. They initiate, or when they're about to initiate the attack on your online account, they quickly send you a message that, hello, Mr. Randolph. I was the former owner of this number that you're using. And because I was the former owner of this number, I had to link my old email accounts to this number. But now I'm no longer using this number because I traveled out of the country. And then when I came back, the number has been reassigned to you. So I called you to let you know that I want to access that old email account of mine. But if I do it, it's going to send you the code because I did that authentication on that email account. So kindly help me out. When the code is sent to you, kindly send it to me through this number so that I can access that old email address of mine, because I have some clients who have sent some emails to that email address. You are a good person. I was like, oh, don't worry, that's a good thing. So you just reply, oh, don't worry. Let the code come and I'm going to send it back to you. Then they quickly initiate the attack on your online account. That online account that you've activated two-step verification. So immediately they try logging in there. It's going to send you that code. You get that code and you will go with the mindset that the person who used to use this number has his code or her code being sent to me. Let me quickly send it back to them. Then you, good Samaritan, a good person, send this code back to this person. And that is the code they want. They just need that code so that they can take over your online account. And once you send it to them, they are so polite and they get back to you and say, thank you very much. You are a lifesaver. Then they take the code and they use that code and they take over your account. So even though you've done a two-step verification, be careful about these guys. They are always scheming. They are always coming up with different approaches. Be careful about that. If they used to use that, they can get to the network operators and they can pick it up from there. Don't be that avenue for them to use to get you and take over your social media account. Thank you so much for joining us. And it has been a wonderful time for this whole session. As I always say, dreams are in level. Make sure you get to the top level of your dream. Have a wonderful week and go safe and be cyber smart and cyber conscious. Be vigilant and stay safe whilst you are online. So we meet again same time next week for another episode. We want to say a very big thank you for joining us from the African Season Speakers Network, bringing to you the Power Impact Series. And I know today you have been empowered to go out there, to get into the cyber world and maneuver your time and your space through it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. And bye-bye from me here. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Owusu Ansah.